Dear friends, today we are dealing with morphology of flowering plants. In last class, we discussed about living organisms. Now here, the morphology of flowering plants. Yesterday I told you what is morphology. Morphology is a process where we people are studying regarding the structure and organization and whatever the external characters we are studying, that we are calling it as a morphology. Morphology in simple sense, the external study of the organism, the shape, size, color, everything it depends. So externally, whatever appearance is there, depending on that what we are studying, that process itself we are calling it as morphology. Here we are studying regarding the flowering plants. Now, the different kinds of plants and animals we people are observing in the nature. And here, every organism, whatever you are observing, the variations are seen. Different kinds of variations. If suppose, take an example of human beings itself, their shape, size, etc. if you are observing, it is entirely different. Some human beings are very fat, tall, some of them they are very short, thin, colors, different kinds of colors, so on. So, what I want to say here is, whatever the external appearance we are observing, that is morphology. So here, in case of flowering plants, many number of plants we are observing. There also, the flowering plants, it may be minute plant to very big trees, tall trees. So usually, the plants are classified into herbs, shrubs, and trees. The herbs are the plants which are dwelling with the ground, and they are some around about 1 or 2 feet they are growing, and we are calling them as herbs. Then, apart from these 2 to 3 feet and above, whatever they are growing and forming the bushy-like structures, may be growing up to 8 to 9 feet. Such a type of bushes, we are calling them as shrubs. So, herbs are very minute, they are growing up to 1 or 2 feet. Shrubs, they are growing up to 8 to 9 feet. And remaining all are trees. The trees are very big, you people are knowing. And they may be 10 feet to 200 feet, sometimes 300 feet. So such a type of very big trees you people are observing. And they are covering vast areas also. So in this way, the broader classifications you people are observing. Now here in case of flowering plants, the plant body when you are taking, the plant body, the typical plant what you call, it is having different parts. First part, you people are calling it as a root. A root is underground part, and it is positively geothermic, or may say gravitational pull will be there. Towards the gravitational pull, the roots are growing inside the ground. And here, actually, light is not at all required. Okay, where there is no light, where gravitational pull is there, the roots are growing. And this is an underground part. Now, roots again, when you are taking, the main root will be there, the mother root or primary root we are calling. Here, the radical directly develops into a primary root. The primary root, it is producing secondary, tertiary roots. So all they are spreading inside the ground and they are sucking water, minerals and required materials, and it will be supplied to the plant. So absorption is taking place by that. So roots are playing very important role, and also they are helping plant to anchor tightly in the ground. So it is a supportive in nature. And sometimes if suppose root only you are studying, there the roots are meant for storage also. They are storing food material. And sometimes some of the roots, they are coming out of the ground towards the light. So against the force of gravity the roots are growing. Example, mangrove plants. In case of mangrove plants, the roots are projected out of the ground, and these roots, they are having many number of small pores through which the exchange of gas is taking place. So we are calling them as breathing roots. Sometimes you can see a stilt roots. Take an example of a sugar cane. At the basal nodal regions you observe in the stem, from the stem some of the roots are projected out. Take an example of maize, jawar, etc. Here some of the roots are projected out and they are just entering into the ground and they are supporting the entire stem system. So we are calling them as stilt roots. Take example of banyan tree. The banyan tree is very big tree, vast tree, you people are knowing. And it is having a branches, the bark, it grows to a longer distance and very heavy. So in between that, you can see some of the hanging roots. And sometimes you are also, the children also they are playing along with those roots. And such a type of hanging roots, they are nothing but adventitious roots. And these adventitious roots, they are moving towards the ground. When they are touching to the ground, they are entering, they are penetrating. And they are supporting a big bark of the plant. So, such a type of roots, we are calling them as prop roots. In this way, different kinds of roots you people are observing. First of all, when the seed is developing, it is having two parts. One is radicle, another one is plumule. Radicle is converted into root and plumule is converted into shoot system, aerial system. If suppose the roots are directly formed from the radicle or the radicle directly develops into a root, then such a type of roots you people are calling it as a tap root system. It is called tap root system. Sometimes the radicle stops its growth, and when radicle is stopping its growth, other than radicle, from other parts of the plant, some of the roots are coming out. And such a type of roots, you are calling them as adventitious roots. So these adventitious roots are also supportive to the plant body. In this way, the different kinds of roots you are observing. And here also again you people are classifying monocots, dicots. In monocotyledons, what happens? Radicle stops its growth from the base of the stem. Many number of roots are produced. And these many number of roots, they are forming hair-like structure, bunch-like structure, and you are calling them as fibrous roots. And again, monocots, dicots, again the differentiation. So the subject is very vast. We cannot discuss all those things here. But I think you understood what is root. Then this is underground system. Above the ground, is the shoot system, aerial system. There, the plumule is growing and it is converting into stem. Stem is supporting the whole plant body. Again, the stem is having nodes and internodal parts. And from the nodal region, the leaves and other things they are growing. And at the tip also, you can see a different kinds of things. Okay, let it be. We'll stop it here and we'll continue the flowering plants. And here, lot of things are there. We'll discuss in the coming classes also. Now we'll go to the slide. This is the first question. Climbing roots are present in. So, the climbing roots. Usually, the plants when you are taking, some of them they are weak stemmed plant. They need support to grow. There, they are producing a special type of roots, and those roots they are attaching to the host. And there they are clinging, they are holding support. Again, by holding that support, the plant body is taken up. So in this way, plant continuously rises up. Okay, now see, now examples what they are given. Loranthus, Curcuma amada, rose, piper beetle. Now here, all these things, they are not weak stemmed plants. But in case of piper beetle, here I can say it is the leaf which you people are using in day-to-day life. Tinnuvanta ele. So such a type of leaf, we are calling it as piper beetle. This plant is weak stemmed plant. So as a result, to climb up, it requires the specialized roots, and those roots we are calling them as climbing roots. They are holding support. Again, the plant body is growing up. Again, they are holding support. Again, it is growing up. So, in this way, the climbing roots you people are observing, the climbing roots in these options is present in piper beetle, that is D. Option D is the right answer here. We'll go to the next slide. Here, sweet potato is modification of. Now, sweet potato. First, we'll see the options, then I'll explain it to you. First, leaf, root, stem, then flowering axis. Now, here, usually sweet potato. We people used to say it is underground. Genesu. It is underground. And sometimes it is forming in a bunch also. Okay, here the adventitious roots, they are growing into a sweet potatoes. There the food material will be stored in the body. The root tips, they will become bulbous, and in these bulbs the food material is stored, and then we are calling such a type of potatoes or such a type of tubers as sweet potatoes. Here it is a modification of root, that is adventitious root. So option B is the right answer here. We will move to the next slide. Now here, which is not a product of root. Now you have to see the options. It is not produced by the root. Okay? Which are the options now? First of all, the sugar beet, carrot, radish, potato. Now here, sugar beet, it is a taproot modification. Radical directly converts into a root system. Food is stored, it is underground. So that is sugar beet, that is beetroot you people are used to call. Then carrot. Carrot is also a taproot modification. A conical root is formed, which is also underground, and there the food is stored. Radish. Radish is also a taproot modification, and it is underground, storing food material. Potato. Potato is not a root. It is a stem. The stem is modified into tuber. So, potato is not a root. Then what is the question here? Which is not a product of root? The correct answer is potato is not a product of root. So, option D is the right answer. We'll go to the next slide. Aerial absorptive roots occur in. Aerial absorptive roots occur in. In the sense, some of the plants they are growing above the other plant. What we are calling them as epiphytic plants. The epiphytic plant, here you can take an example of venda. Okay, usually on the big mango trees, a venda used to grow. And such a type of venda, if you are observing, it is having two types of roots. One small type of root which is anchoring the host or which is anchoring the substratum. And another kind of root, they are long elongated, hanging downward. And they are covered with the spongy tissue. And they are absorbing the atmospheric moisture. So, here, what is the question? The aerial absorptive roots occur in. We'll go through the option now. Epiphytes, just now I told you regarding the venda. Mesophytes, mesophytes are the bigger plants and having broad leaves and usually found on the plain areas. Then hydrophytes, these are the plants which are growing inside the water. Then xerophytes are the plants which are growing in the desertic conditions where the availability of water is very, very less. Okay, so out of 4 options, option A, epiphytes are the correct answer for aerial absorptive roots. Here I am given an example of venda. So, right answer is option A. We'll go to the next slide. Now, balancing roots occur in. So, the balancing root in the sense where it is required. Balancing roots occur in. Option A, hydrilla. Option B, Vallisneria. Option C, lamina. Option D, lotus. So here, balancing roots where they are required, where the plants are freely floating on the surface of water. To balance its body, the roots are required. Now, first of all, we'll see these examples. Hydrilla. Hydrilla is a plant which is totally submerged in the water. Okay, that is deeply inside the water. Now, Vallisneria is anchoring the soil and floating in the water. Then lamina is freely floating on the surface of the water. Then lotus is anchoring at inside the water and also its leaves are floating on the surface of water. So here, lamina is freely floating. It requires a balancing roots. So the balancing roots are occurring in option C, lamina. So lamina is the correct answer. We'll go to the next question. Climbing roots occur in. Earlier also you people observed climbing roots. Here also the climbing roots you people are observing. See the options. Now here, vanilla, venda, pongamia, then Tiniophyllum. So here the right answer is the vanilla. Regarding these I explained already. Again I don't want to explain the same. So here vanilla is a weak stemmed plant and it holds and climbs the host. So vanilla is the right answer. Now we'll go to the next slide. Roots have thorny branches in. See, I'm telling you about the roots. Here the question is regarding the roots. Roots are having thorny branches. Now, which type of plant? Here some examples are given. Just see. Vanilla, asparagus, Acanthoryza, pothos. So, vanilla, it is weak stemmed plant. Already you people discussed. Asparagus, here in case of this, the stem, from the base of the stem, many number of roots are produced, and those roots are bulging at the tip, and a cluster of bulbous tubers are produced, and that is the asparagus. That the storage of food material is seen in the tip of the root. Then Acanthoryza, in case of Acanthoryza, the roots have thorny branches. Okay, so the correct answer is Acanthoryza. So option C is the right answer. And we'll go through the pothos also. Pothos, it is a kind of plant which is a parasitic plant. And it is climbing on other plants, and at the same time they are producing Haustoria. Haustoria is penetrating into the host. From there the food material is sucked. So we are calling pothos as the parasitic plant here. A best example is Cuscuta. Cuscuta, I can take it as an example. But here, in case of this question, the right answer is C, Acanthoryza. So we'll move to the next slide. Root cap is absent in. Where root caps are not seen? We'll see the options. Hydrophytes, lithophytes, xerophytes, and mesophytes. So, hydrophytes, what happens? The plants which are growing inside the water, the root tips are not having root caps. Instead of root cap, they are having root pockets. So, hydrophytes are having root pockets. Now, lithophytes, here the environment or the area will be rocky. In these rocky areas, the plants are growing. Whatever root tips are there, they are covered with the root caps because the protection is required to the tip. And xerophytes, they are growing in the desertic conditions where the water availability is very less. The root is undergoing in search of water. So for that purpose, the root cap is required. Mesophytes are also containing root caps. But here, hydrophytes, they are not having the root caps. Instead of root caps, they are having root pockets. So the option A is the right answer here. We'll move to the next question. Now, sucking roots occur in. So here, Ficus, Venda, Carrot, and Misteliote. So, sucking roots. The sucking roots are usually seen in parasitic plants. So, Cuscuta, I was given an example. Another parasitic plant in this group is Misteliote. Okay, here Ficus bengalensis, you people are knowing a big tree. Venda, it is an epiphytic plant. Carrot, it is a taproot modification, and Misteliote is a parasitic plant. So as a result, it has a sucking roots. It sucks the food material and survives. So the right answer is option B. So we'll move to the next question. Which is not a stem modification? Whatever options are given in that stem modification, it is not a stem modification. Which is that? We have to find it out. Now we'll go to the options now. Ginger. Ginger, it is an underground stem. What we are calling it as a rhizome. And it is having nose as well as internodes. From there, the new birds and other things they are formed. Mango ginger. Mango ginger, it is a root. Okay, the root tips are bulged and storing food material. Potato, it is a stem tuber. The stem ending is forming a tuber and food material is stored. Garlic, it is having a fleshy stem, and it is bulbous in nature. So here, the right answer is option B, mango ginger. So mango ginger is the correct answer. We'll move to the next question. Food is stored in one of the following. Where food is stored? In what option? Okay, so first we'll see the respiratory route, second fibrous route, third fasciculated route, fourth is nodulated route. Now here you can observe the mangrove plants. In mangrove plants, the roots are coming out of the ground and they are growing towards the light and they are containing many number of pores. So as a result, exchange of gas is taking place and here we are calling it as a respiratory route. Fibrous roots, in case of monocotic plants or the family Gramineae if we are taking, okay, the roots are fibrous and forming hair-like structure, so the fibrous root you people are calling. Fasciculated root, here also asparagus you can take, here the stem ending, it is forming the roots, the tip are bulged and they are storing food material. So fasciculated root is the right answer here. Then nodulated roots, here also the root nodules, root bulbs are produced and wherever you people are observing a root, okay, some bulbous structures you are observing. And then the food is stored, sometimes the rhizobium bacteria is also stored there. But in this question, the right answer is C, fasciculated root. So, friends, today we are stopping it here. Whatever the thing is there regarding the morphology of flowering plants, we will continue in the coming class. So, thank you very much.